Hey guys, welcome back. In previous video, we have already discussed about kingdom Monera, Protista and kingdom fungi. In this particular video, we are going to learn about kingdom Plantae. So kingdom Plantae is actually divided into 4 different groups, and the general features which are shared by all the members of these 4 groups are as follows. You're already aware that all the members of kingdom Plantae, they are all multicellular. Okay, then they're eukaryotes. Eukaryotes means they have well-defined nucleus and they have membrane-bound cell organelles. Then they perform photosynthesis. They are green in color, so they have chloroplast, and inside chloroplast they have chlorophyll. So with the help of chloroplast, they are able to perform photosynthesis. And very important characteristics, all the members of kingdom Plantae, they even have cell wall, and the cell wall present in plants, it's made up of cellulose. So cellulose is actually a type of polysaccharide. Fine. So cell wall in plants is made up of cellulose. So these are the characteristics which are shared by all the members of kingdom Plantae. Now we will look into the 4 important divisions of kingdom Plantae. The 4 important divisions of kingdom Plantae are as given in this particular table. These divisions can also be called phylums of kingdom Plantae. Okay, so we have to actually learn or compare these 4 divisions on the basis of these general features given on the first column. Okay, body differentiation, vascular tissues, mode of reproduction, presence of flowers and fruits. So the 4 divisions are bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Out of these 4 divisions, bryophytes and gymnosperms you don't have to read. It's not a part of your IGCSE syllabus. You only have to focus on pteridophytes and angiosperms. But as we're learning about plant kingdom, so it's always good to have little extra knowledge. So the first general feature is body differentiation. That means the presence of root, stem, leaf, etc. Okay, the proper shoot system or root system is present in the division or not. So first one is bryophytes. In case of bryophytes, true roots are absent. Okay, true roots are absent. Instead of true roots, rhizoids are present. These rhizoids are nothing but they are just small root-like structure. They act like fruit. Their function is like root, but they are not true roots. And then root, stem, and leaves are present. In case of pteridophytes, root, stems, and leaves are present. They have very large or big roots, which are known as fronds. Then in case of gymnosperms and angiosperms both, because they are big trees, so they both have two roots, stem and leaves. Now when we talk about these vascular tissues, vascular tissues means the tissues which helps in transportation in plants. There are 2 types of vascular tissues, xylem and phloem. Xylem helps in conduction of water and minerals from roots to different parts of the plant, and phloem tissue actually helps in transport of food which is prepared in leaf, from leaf to different parts of the plant or from different parts of the plant to leaf. Okay, so in case of bryophytes, because they are the most simplest form of plants, so in case of bryophytes these vascular tissues are absent, and rest in all 3 divisions or all 3 phylums these vascular tissues are present. Mode of reproduction in case of bryophytes is always asexual reproduction. And in case of pteridophytes, it is due to spore formation. This is very important. You have to remember this. Mode of reproduction in pteridophytes is by spore formation. Okay, it's also asexual. And in case of gymnosperms and angiosperms, they both reproduces sexually by the production of seeds. Okay. In case of angiosperms, seed production takes place in ovary of the flower. You have studied in class 7th about reproduction in flowers or in reproduction in flowering plants. There you have studied, the structure of flower. So in center we have this pistil, and there you have seen stigma, style and ovary. So at the bottom inside ovary, seed production takes place. Then flowers and fruits, obviously in bryophytes and pteridophytes they are absent. In gymnosperms also they are absent, because in case of gymnosperms actually sexual cones are present. Okay, male cone and female cone, and seeds are present on the tip of these cones. Then in case of angiosperms, flowers and fruits, they both are produced. Fine. Now in next picture I'll show you the image of bryophytes. This is one of the example of bryophyte, liverwort. Another example of bryophyte is like mosses. So here you can see in case of liverwort, they have these rhizoids, this brown color small root-like structures. They are not root, but they are known as rhizoid, and they have the function similar to root. Okay, and this is a leaf-like structure of liverwort. Here we have pteridophytes, that is ferns, right? Pteridophytes, the example I have given here is ferns. You can see this long, leaf-like structure. They are not true leaf, but this long leaf-like structure is known as fronds. Fronds. So these pteridophytes, they have true root, they have true stem, and leaf-like structure, which is known as frond. The next picture actually shows that behind each frond, or at the back of each frond, each leaflet is actually covered with sporangias. So these small brown color organs are actually known as sporangias, and inside these sporangias are produced spores. These spores are nothing but sexual organ. Okay, these spores actually helps in formation of or production of new pteridophytes. So whenever these sporangias they're fully grown, okay, they burst open and the spores are carried away by air or wind to different places. Okay, and these spores they land into different favorable conditions, and there they germinate and produces new pteridophyte. Rest in detail we have to learn about angiosperms. Now angiosperms are actually flowering plant. Okay, and these angiosperms are divided into two divisions. They are monocots and dicots, or you can say monocotyledons and dicotyledons. You should actually understand first what is the meaning of cotyledon. You studied in your lower classes. For example, you take a seed. Okay, now when you sow this particular seed under the soil, fine, the seed will germinate. Okay, and after germination of the soil, a plumule originates, and this plumule will give rise to shoot system. And from this seed also originate radicle. This radicle will give rise to root system. No, but you are already aware that seed is present inside the soil. It is covered under the soil. There is no leaf. So how this seed is getting energy for formation of plumule and radicle? So seed is actually already having a stored form of food inside it. Okay, and this stored food which is present inside the seed is known as cotyledons. Okay, what it is called? Cotyledon. So cotyledon is nothing but the stored food present inside the seed, which helps in the germination of seed when seed is present or covered under the soil. Okay, so some flowering plants, they have two cotyledons in their seed, and some flowering plants, they have only one cotyledon in their seed. Okay, so plants which carry only one cotyledon in this seed, they are known as monocots or monocotyledons, because the meaning of this term mono is one. And plants which have two cotyledons in their seeds, they are known as dicots or dicotyledons. Okay, so di means two. So monocots, they have one cotyledon in their seed. Dicots, they have two cotyledons in their seed. And another example, another very easiest way of identifying whether the plant is monocot or dicot. So you can look at their root system. You've studied in your lower class in grade 6 about two types of root system: fibrous root system and taproot system. In fibrous root system, all the roots are actually similar in sizes. There is no major, or there is no one main root. Okay, all root, they originate from the central position, and they are almost similar in sizes. So they are present like similar size fibers. In case of dicot plants, they always have taproot system. Taproot system means in center we have one main root, and from that main root originates small lateral roots. Okay, so by looking at the root, you can easily identify whether the plant is monocot or dicot. Another very important, very easiest way of identifying a monocot or dicot is you can look at the leaf. You can look at the venation present in the leaf, the arrangement of veins in the leaf. This also you have studied in the lower class. Generally, the roots, the plants which have this fibrous root system, they always have leaves with parallel venation. Okay, and plants with taproot system, they always have leaves with reticulate venation. Okay, so example is like banana tree. It's very common, you all have seen. And if you remember, the leaves of banana, on leaves of banana we have these parallel veins. Okay, the leaves, the veins runs parallel to each other on the leaves of banana. So banana is having fibrous root system, and it's an example of monocot plant. And if we'll talk about dicots, like rose plant and then mango tree, all your legumes mean pulses, the chana dal, the masoor, moong and all pulses which you eat, peanuts, okay, then pea plant, almonds, cashews. So all these are the examples of dicots. This seed of groundnut, or you can take this chana. Okay, so you can easily break the seed into two parts. Why? Because the seed is actually having two cotyledons. Fine. So this is also a way of identifying it. Fine. So the example of monocots is corn, grass, banana, palm trees, etc. And dicots, it is legumes. Legumes means all your pulses. Then groundnuts, almonds, cashews, apple. Apple is also an example of dicot tree, etc. In next image, I'll just show you the picture of corn, which is monocot plant, and picture of dicot, the picture of pea. It's a dicot plant. Now here, look, you can look here easily. The monocot plants, they actually have long strap shaped leaves, and they have parallel venation in them. Okay, so corn, even sugar cane, it's actually they are monocot. Fine, and they have fibrous root system. Here in case of pea, which is dicot, you can look at the leaf. Leaves are small, broad, and they have branched venation. Branched in the sense reticulate venation, and they have taproot system. So only this much in plant kingdom you have to learn. In next video, we'll start with animal kingdom. Take care till then. Bye-bye.